Beador is getting some competition. They are a huge supporters of Archie Beador, and they do not like Miss Bellino's a knockoff Archie. All Goldens are not created equal. Beador. And
look, Shannon is winning. And isn't it interesting? Because I mean, I'm loving RHOC this season.
Excellent.
I truly came into that show and I thought to myself, really with some judgments about Shannon, which I have shared. And, with this DUI and how awful I thought that was, especially at, being a more mature woman, like, come on, we ought to have a lot of our ish together at, getting older. And when you got kids and all these things, I was really critical. And man, has she won me over. And actually, has she really makes John and Alexis look desperate, and Jesus Jones is like a great character to your point, but she almost looks pathetic. And now she's got this like line, kind of stealing Vicki's line. And she just looks like she is, I don't know, right? Kind of a little fish out of water on this. I mean, it's weird. She looks like it's so crazy. She and John were in the driver's seat to almost make it look like, Shannon, leave us alone. You're a drunk. You have major problems, and now it's almost like they're trying to stalk Shannon and they want her life. It couldn't be any better for Shannon Beador. I'm very proud of Beador. I think Beador is winning. Tamra has got a whole bunch of, I don't know, Tamra. And now she's coming out saying
about the
rat.
That Scuddy, she is really, really misbehaving herself. There is not even half a piece of Gouda in the corner. There is a crumb of Gouda, and she is holding on, and the tail is wagging, like you said, and her beady little eyes. The TamRat has beady little eyes. Tell me about the rat. That's Curry's.
Well, the rat, I'm trying to think of where this was. Maybe this was on their podcast, but the rat came out and is now revealing her so-called biggest lie. And that is when Shannon and Heather were beefing, and Shannon and who was Shannon's ex-husband? David,
yes.
David was leaving her. So she calls up Heather and she goes, Heather, be good to Shannon. She's going through this, basically tells Heather everything that her dear friend is going through. And then like Heather and Shannon have this meeting, and Heather kind of lets it slip like, oh yeah, by the way, I heard your husband's leaving you. And Shannon's like, Tamra, you told her this? Tamra's like, no, lie, said she swore on her life she didn't lie. And she did. Because of course now they're all not friends and they're all feuding and fighting, meaning Tamra, Vicki, Shannon. But then it's like, how do you have any credibility? I mean, who's looking at you like this woman's the one to trust?
The rat scurries. And I mean, like Shannon, I just saw, like, they're all talking, like you said, they're all talking about each other, right? Like Shannon just came out and said, they're all talking about the end of their friendship and they all see things a different way. What? Is this real?
What?
I mean, oh, well, you better sit down. This is breaking news, although this will be a week old. Vanderpump Villa on Hulu is returning for a season 2, and guess who is joining the cast? Are you sitting down? I mean, it's a week later that you're all going to hear this.
Here we go. Tell me.
Stassi. It's real. It's all over the place. It was announced that Stassi will be getting her own reality show on Hulu. As part of the new development deal with Hulu, she'll be leading the new half-an-hour docu-comedy entitled Stassi Says. Let's see if this is really confirmed. The show will follow Stassi and a fresh ensemble of comedic and chaotic characters who are dealing with identity crisis. And okay, I don't know if that's true, but this thing about Vanderpump Villa seems to be everywhere, that she's coming to Vanderpump Villa. So, Stassi, it seems to be working out, right? Seems to be working out with Stassi. Yeah, this is in Deadline. Vanderpump Villa renewed for season 2.
Wow.
Vanderpump Rules alum Stassi Schroeder joins the cast. So Stassi's really going, and I guess they said you don't want to go to the Valley. She doesn't want to come to Vanderpump Rules. I mean, somebody did say on this podcast recently that the way to save Vanderpump Rules is to bring back Stassi. I think that was me. They must have
Well,
said to her, which of these would you like? You don't want to go to the Valley. You already said no, and you don't seem to want to go to Vanderpump Rules. How about Villa? And she said, wait, I can go to France and film with just Lisa and a bunch of like newbies. She doesn't know any of them. She don't, I mean, I guarantee you they asked her for Vanderpump Rules. I guarantee you what they just chose Villa. I don't buy it. I think she said no, no to the Valley, which she already said no to this. And here we go. That's the
there's a
power of
lot.
Stassi.
Well, there's a lot of Vanderpump changes. And, I just had Peter Madrigal on my podcast. And,
Talk to me.
well, shout out to the Sun that picked up our interview. But Peter on my interview says there's going to be major changes to VPR. He does not come out and say anything, but he basically says he can't see Ariana coming back. He says he can't see any of the cast coming back to Vanderpump Rules, that none of them actually work for Lisa anymore. He says he thinks they'll be going to the Valley, some of them. And he also made the big announcement on my podcast that TomTom is going to be completely rebranded as Pump. And Lisa Vanderpump has bought out the 2% ownership that the Toms had. So that's huge news. And he says that there's going to be some big changes. Could you see Vanderpump Rules being completely recasted?
Yeah. I mean, I could. It's not that I cannot see it. I think that is a possibility. So then we'll add that to New York Housewives. I mean, again, it didn't really work. I think,
Yeah,
I'm
tell me what you think.
sorry.
And then
Sorry.
I know you met Bryn Winfield or Whitfield in real life. What do you make of this? Like Bryn put up this trailer, like RHONY coming soon.
She put it up and then everyone else just, it leaked,
Well,
right? She keeps putting
no,
things
everybody
up.
in the comments is like, okay, when? When? Is there a release date? There's no release date. What's going on, do you think?
Well, I don't think it's time. I think we have to end Jersey and we're spacing things out and we have OC. I think later in September, maybe mid-September.
Isn't that weird though that they let her put that trailer? I'm sure they didn't let her.
This is the second time this happened by Bryn. She's really misbehaving. By the way, what was I just going to say about
Well, but
Vanderpump?
then we were talking about Vanderpump, a complete recasting, but you were basically saying it did not really work for New York. So could that even be a possibility?
I
Is
think that it could
Peter,
be a possibility. This is what I was going to say. Do you want to know what I think?
tell
I'm
me.
all over the place. I think if they can't figure out, well, first of all, I wonder how Lisa Vanderpump feels about Peter announcing this. Like, seems like a pretty big announcement. I mean, that's why the Sun picked it up. Seems like, I mean, did Lisa know that he was coming on your podcast to chat about this and just reveal this major fact?